Ladies and gentlemen, hello once again on Cowboys Insiders. Today, the Dallas Cowboys could shake up 2026 NFL draft due to the signing of George Pickens. The Dallas Cowboys were listed as the team that could shake up the entire NFL draft. So the following are breakout campaign during his first season with the Dallas Cowboys. George Pickens is ready to cash in the Dallas Cowboys. George Pickens recorded a career high in reception of 93 yards and 1,429 and touchdowns of 9, so establishing him as the one of the premier playmaker in the NFL. To ensure they can keep him around in 2006, the Cowboys used the franchise tag on Pickens, which will pay him approximately $27 million. The two sides can still work on a long-term deal, but there is no indication that the Dallas Cowboys will even entertain an extension at this point. That's why a Bleacher Report, Christopher Knox, says a draft day trade is possible for the Dallas Cowboys to extend the long contract with George Pickens. So what would shake up the entire NFL draft? According to ESPN's Todd Archer, the Cowboys have not had discussions with Pickens about a long-term deal. If an extension doesn't seem either likely or sensible, trading Pickens and getting a receiver on a rookie contract could be an option an oxalot. It might not be an option for a Dallas Cowboy where are likely to exercise. However, if prospects like Arizona State, Jordan Grayson, and Ohio State are Cornell Tate, or Mokai Lemon is sitting there whether a Dallas is on the clock. It's one that could become more appealing, and having a Pickens land with another team while a top receiver comes off the board to the Dallas could certainly send a shockwave through the NFL. Assuming the Cowboys were open to trading George Pickens, an ideal return would be the first round pick. That's not incredibly likely given his history and the salary he is setting to command. However, that means more realistic return would be a second round selection. So a Dallas currently doesn't have selection in a second round, and adding one might allow them to truly rebuild the defensive side of the ball. So there is many reasons why the Cowboys could be comfortable trading a wide receiver, George Pickens. For the Cowboys, trading Pickens wouldn't be completely about the return. While they would be getting more bucks than what they traded for Pickens in 2025, the real reason they would be open to the move is to avoid paying another receiver high dollar contract after extending a CeeDee Lamb contract in 2024. This only makes sense. However, if there is a viable wide receiver, perhaps they do not dart in Elian Flowner, who had a strong second season in the NFL. If the Cowboys believe Flowner could take another steps this year, they might be more comfortably trading Pickens and adding more firepower to their defense. The Dallas Cowboys are armed with a two first-round picks in 2026 NFL Draft. With just 3 weeks until the festivity kicks off on the North Shore in the Pittsburgh, the Dallas has plenty of option when a draft rolls around as it continues looking to improve the roster. A common opinion is that the Dallas Cowboys should use both first-round picks on the star and defensive prospect to improve their put lead unity, which ranked number 13 overall in the league last season. But what if the team decided to use some extra picks to move around in the NFL draft order? That's exactly what Bruce Feldman of The Athletic suggests for the Cowboys should do. In this latest mock draft, Feldman has the Cowboys making a major trade with Arizona Cardinals to land the player number 3 overall picks in the draft. So you would think the Cowboys would have to give up both first-round picks to enter the top 3, right? Not if you are a Feldman. His trade proposal has the Cowboys pulling off the draft day haste that would send the number 12 overall picks and the team third rounder to the Cardinal pick number 3 to land the Texas Tech superstar David Baylor. And also the Dallas Cowboy targets 4 wide receivers in 2026 NFL draft and mocks. A wide receiver might not be pressing needs for the Dallas Cowboys, but they could still consider adding one of these 4 prospects in the 2026 NFL draft. The NFL draft takes place in 3 weeks, and the Dallas Cowboys currently have 2 picks in the round 1 and 8 selection overall. They are expected to focus on defense early, which makes sense considering this side of the ball was disaster for them in 2025. Head coach Brian Schottenheimer wouldn't rule out an offensive player in round 1, but that feels unlikely unless a premier talent fall to them. Still, the Cowboys are doing their homework on every pair, and that includes a wide receiver even with a CeeDee Lamb and hopefully George Pickens on the roster. A Dallas could add more depth. That said, he is look at 4 wide receivers and who would make a sense. Those 4 wide receiver, we're going to see about those 4 wide receiver and who can make a sense when signed with a Dallas Cowboy. Number 1 is Skylar Bailey. At 6 foot and 192 pounds, Skylar Bailey isn't the biggest wide receiver, but also he is dominated during his final season with the Huskies. Bailey had 101 receptions for 1,278 yards and 13 touchdowns. He has the versatility to play inside, the outside, and displayed a solid athleticism at the NFL combined when he can run 40 yards dash on the second and recorded 41 inches on a vertical jump. The other player who has a chance more than other is a Bryce Lance. A Bryce Lance from a North Dakota state. Trey Lance didn't pan out on backup quarterbacks in the Dallas, but perhaps they could have a better luck with his young brothers. Bryce Lance emerged as a star for a North Dakota State, tapping 1,000 yards receiving in each of his final 2 seasons with the Bisons. He doesn't offer much versatility, seems as primarily an ex-receiver, but he wins a contested passes and has more than enough juice to beat a defenders downfield. Player number 3 is Alegi Virgil on Texas Tech. The Cowboys have been linked to 3 defenders on Texas Tech, with a David Baylor, a Lomelo Haight, and Jacob Rodriguez, all named as a potential fits. That doesn't mean that shouldn't be a scouting the Red Raiders offense as well. On that side, the ball, Leggy Virgil stands out as an integrity prospect after locking up 816 yards and averaging 19 yards per catch for a Miami Virgil. Transferred to Texas Tech. With a Red Raiders, he recorded 75 yards and 6 touchdowns. What really would make him popular with a Dallas coaching staff is his competitiveness, and which include his work as a blocker. Also, Omar Cooper Jr., former player of Indiana, is the one receiver the Cowboys have met with is Omar Cooper Jr., who is a potential first-round pick, a well-rounded receiver who can do it all, and a Cooper is seen as ideal wide receiver at the next level. At number 12, due to Micah Parsons' trade last offseason, a new mock draft from ESPN have been released now. That mock draft has a Dallas using a player number 12 overall picks to upgrade its pass rusher. The Dallas Cowboys connected to a major defensive additions. In ESPN's new mock draft, Field Yates was in charge of making the Cowboys' first selection at number 12. He has the team scooping up a Miami Hurricanes standout pass rusher, Ruben Bain. The mission to fix the Cowboys' defense should start with addition of a Bain. Yates wrote, the ACC Defensive Player of the Year has a hand of destruction that will travel to the NFL. And he had 9.5 sacks last season for the Hurricanes. Ben would be an instant upgrade for the defense that could use a better pass rusher. Even after acquiring a Rashan Gary in a trade with a Packers, a Dallas could use a help. During 2025 college football season with the Hurricanes, Ben was a big part of the season and they made a run to the national championship. They didn't win a championship, but that didn't take away from Ben's impressive season. He racked up 54 total tackles to go along with 9.5 sacks, a forced fumble, an interception, and a defended pass. Through 33 years career at Miami, he totaled 121 tackles and 20.5 sacks 4 forced fumbles and interception, and 2 defended passes. Jerry Jones is still away from a Super Bowl contention. At this current point in the time, the Cowboys do not take the part of the top tries Super Bowl contender. They have improved with addition of the Garrett, a safety Jalen Thompson, and a cornerback Kobe Durant. But no blockbuster move have been made to drastically improve the team. No one can count a Dallas out. Anything can happen during the course of the NFL season. However, it appears that Jerry Jones has more work to do. Also, the Dallas Cowboys, one of the main storyline of the 2026 NFL offseason was a Max Crosby of the Las Vegas Raiders being available for a trade, and the Dallas Cowboys were one of the team in the hunt for the Max Crosby signings. Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones has expressed that the team was very serious about a signings of a Max Crosby and they made 3 trade offers. But instead, Crosby went to the Baltimore Ravens only to fail his physical and come back to the Raiders. Now, Jerry Jones is talking about Crosby again. The Ravens, of course, cited Crosby failed a physical as why they took back their offer to bring him to Baltimore. Speaking with reporters at the NFL Annual League meeting in Phoenix, Arizona, Jones basically said that Crosby would have done the same things in the Dallas Cowboys. There is no hidden items there. You have got to pass physically. He said, according to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, we have never completed an agreement until the player passes the physical or fitness test, but we would have had the same conditions with a physical. Jones added, as you know, we were in one making an offer for him. He would have come to Dallas and we will all just guess what would have happened. A Dallas Cowboy owner, Jerry Jones, and general manager gets awards after a Max Crosby comments made at the NFL League marketing. As for those comments from Jerry Jones, Jerry Trotter of the Landry Hats says in Thursday, April 2, future that the bad faith crowd isn't going to enjoy leading that court. Jones didn't go as far as to say that Dallas would follow the Baltimore leads. Toyota adds, but he didn't have to, and it makes you to wonder if the interested team would have done the same. Toyota goes on the comment on how the Ravens handled their situation and why it would controversial to put it light. It's things to back out a trade because failed a physical. What makes Baltimore look so shady in that they reportedly communicated with a free agent Trey Hendrickson before bailing on the Raiders. He says, of course, the team Then signed a Trey Hendrickson on 4 years, which will worth about $112 million contract according to a research from a Spotlight. So, knowing how much Jones loves making headlines and how much star power the Cowboys need on defense, it's a pretty bunker that he walked away from the biggest move of the NFL offseason that almost vindicates Baltimore's decision. As shady as it looks in retrospect, the Dallas Cowboys on Max Crosby trade pinches included 3 board moves. According to report from ESPN's Ryan M. Sefaden out on March 24, the Dallas Cowboys proposed 3 different deals to Las Vegas Raiders that started with